It was a dark, stormy night in the small town of Eldridge. The wind howled like a wild animal, and rain pounded against the windows like angry fists. Emily had just moved into her grandmother's old house after she passed away. The house was big and creaky, with dusty rooms and secrets hidden in every corner. Emily felt sad and lonely, missing her grandmother's warm hugs. But tonight, the storm made her feel even more afraid. She sat by the fireplace, trying to read a book to calm her nerves. The thunder boomed so loud it shook the walls, and lightning flashed, lighting up the dark hallway. Emily's heart raced. She thought she heard a whisper, soft and faint, like someone calling her name. Emily, Emily. At first, she ignored it, blaming the wind. But it came again, closer this time. Her stomach twisted with fear. She stood up, her hands shaking, and grabbed a flashlight from the table. The power went out with a sudden pop, plunging the house into blackness. Emily's breath came in short gasps. She flicked on the flashlight, its beam cutting through the dark like a knife. She walked slowly toward the hallway, her feet creaking on the wooden floor. The whispers grew louder, coming from upstairs. "Why are you here? This is our home." Emily froze, her skin prickling with goosebumps.
Who was saying that?
Her grandmother had lived alone for years. Gathering her courage, she climbed the stairs. Each step felt like it took forever, her legs heavy with dread. Rain lashed against the roof, sounding like claws scratching to get in. At the top, she turned toward the attic door. It was slightly open, even though she had locked it earlier. Her heart pounded in her ears. She pushed the door, and a cold gust of wind hit her face, carrying the smell of old dust and something rotten. Inside the attic, boxes were scattered everywhere. The flashlight beam danced over them, revealing old photos and clothes. Then, she saw it, a shadow moving in the corner. It wasn't just a trick of the light. The shadow twisted and grew, forming the shape of a person. Emily's eyes widened in terror. "Grandma," she whispered, her voice trembling. But it wasn't her grandmother. The shadow had no face, just empty eyes that stared right through her. The whispers turned into low growls. "Leave or join us." Emily backed away, tripping over a box. She fell hard, the flashlight rolling out of her hand. In the dark, she felt icy fingers brush her arm. Panic surged through her like electricity. She scrambled up, screaming, and ran down the stairs. The storm raged outside, but inside, the shadows followed her, whispering secrets of the dead who had never left the house. Emily locked herself in the bedroom, pushing furniture against the door. Tears streamed down her face as she huddled under the blankets. The night dragged on, filled with thunder and those endless whispers. By morning, the storm had passed, but Emily's fear hadn't. She knew the house wasn't empty. The shadows were waiting for the next stormy night to come alive again. From that day, she never felt safe, always jumping at every creak, her heart forever scarred by the chilling horror of that night. On a stormy night deep in the Blackwood Forest, Alex decided to take a shortcut home after visiting his friend. The sky was black as ink, and lightning cracked like whips overhead. Rain poured down in sheets, soaking him to the bone. He felt foolish and scared, regretting not waiting out the storm. The trees swayed wildly, their branches reaching out like bony fingers. Alex's anxiety grew with every step. He was lost, and the path seemed to twist in ways it shouldn't. His phone had no signal, and the battery was dying. He shone its weak light ahead, but the rain blurred everything. Thunder rumbled, shaking the ground, and Alex's heart skipped a beat. He thought he heard footsteps behind him. Crunch, crunch on the wet leaves. He spun around, but saw nothing. "It's just the wind," he told himself, but doubt crept in, making his chest tight with fear. Deeper into the forest, the air grew colder, unnaturally so. Alex shivered, not just from the rain. He stumbled upon an old cabin, hidden among the trees. Relief washed over him at first. Maybe he could shelter there. But as he approached, a spooky feeling settled in his gut. The door creaked open on its own, inviting him in. Inside, It was dry but dusty, with cobwebs everywhere. A single candle flickered on a table, even though no one was there. Who lit it? Alex's curiosity mixed with terror. He sat by the candle, trying to warm up. The storm howled outside, but inside, silence pressed down like a heavy blanket. Then, a low moan echoed from the back room. Alex jumped, his pulse racing. "Hello," he called, his voice shaky. No answer, but the moan came again, chilling him to the core. He grabbed a poker from the fireplace, his hands sweaty despite the cold. Slowly, he crept toward the sound. The room was dark, but in the lightning flashes, he saw shapes. Old furniture covered in sheets. One sheet moved slightly. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He pulled it back, revealing a mirror cracked and foggy. In the reflection, he saw not himself, but a pale figure with hollow eyes standing behind him. He whirled around. Nothing there, but the fear exploded inside him, making him scream. The moans turned into laughter, echoing through the cabin. Alex ran for the door, but it slammed shut. Wind? Or something else? He pounded on it, tears of desperation mixing with rain on his face. Shadows danced on the walls, forming claws that reached for him. "Let me out," he begged, his voice breaking with panic. Finally, with a burst of strength born from pure terror, he kicked the door open and fled into the storm. The forest seemed alive now, branches whipping at him as if trying to pull him back. He ran blindly, heart thundering, until he broke through to the road. Gasping for air, he looked back. The cabin was gone, vanished like a ghost. Alex never spoke of that night, but the spooky memory haunted his dreams, filling him with endless dread whenever a storm brewed. In a remote mountain cabin on a stormy night, Sarah was alone, escaping the busy city life. The wind screamed around the wooden walls, and thunder crashed like giants fighting. Rain hammered the roof, leaking in places and dripping steadily. Sarah felt a mix of excitement and unease at first. This was her peaceful getaway. But as the night darkened, loneliness turned to fear. She missed her family, and the isolation made her imagination run wild. She curled up with a blanket by the window, watching lightning illuminate the trees outside. Each flash showed twisted shapes that looked like monsters. Her mind raced with scary thoughts. What if someone was out there? She shook her head, trying to laugh it off, but her hands trembled. Then, a knock sounded at the door. Soft at first, then louder. Sarah's blood ran cold. Who could it be in this storm, miles from anywhere? She approached the door slowly, peeking through the peephole. Nothing but darkness and rain. "Hello," she called, her voice quivering. No answer. Maybe a branch? But the knock came again, insistent. Terror gripped her heart. She backed away, grabbing a kitchen knife for protection. The door rattled now, as if someone was pushing against it. Sarah's emotions swirled. Fear, anger, confusion. She hid in the bedroom, barricading the door with a chair. The storm intensified, wind whistling through cracks like eerie music. Then, footsteps creaked on the porch outside. Heavy, deliberate. Her breath came in ragged bursts, sweat beading on her forehead despite the chill. A whisper slithered under the door. "Let me in, it's cold out here." Sarah clamped a hand over her mouth to stifle a sob. The voice was raspy, not human. She remembered old stories from the locals about a spirit that wandered the mountains, knocking on doors during storms, seeking warmth from the living. But those were just tales, right? The rattling turned to banging. The whole cabin shook. Sarah curled into a ball, whispering prayers, her body shaking with pure horror. In a lightning flash through the window, she saw a silhouette, tall, shadowy, with glowing eyes. It pressed against the glass, staring in. She screamed, the sound lost in the thunder. Hours passed like eternity. The banging stopped eventually, but Sarah didn't move until dawn. The storm cleared, revealing a sunny morning. She ventured out, finding no footprints, no signs of anyone. But on the door, deep scratches marked the wood, like from claws. Sarah fled the cabin that day, her soul scarred by this spooky encounter. Every stormy night since, she bolts her doors extra tight, her heart forever pounding with the memory of the unseen visitor's chilling plea.